YouTube and college football fans out there. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. We're talking Auburn football. Down in Deep South, college football is king. And on the plains of Auburn, the battle cry is War Eagle. Day 2 of fall camp. I've been seeing a little footage on some of the guys out there. They look a little athletic. I will say the wide receiver group looks a little athletic out there. They look like they're very mobile. I saw some separation with Keandre Lambert-Smith. I thought that, this is some potential energy that could translate into some big plays in the fall. And I think that's something that Auburn has needed in that wide receiver position. Guys that can separate, guys that can get open, guys that can, on first down, you can rely on to get about 7-8 yards or maybe even get a first down and really stretch that down in distance to put a lot of pressure on some of these defenses in the SEC. And that's something they're going to have to do. I think the 2013 football team for Auburn was really good at this. 2010, obviously, with Cam Newton, who was basically a quarterback and a fullback at the same time, running back at the same time, had a stellar Heisman Trophy winning season there. And Nick Marshall kind of snuck up on some folks. Arguably, in my opinion, one of the best quarterbacks at the run-pass option. I mean, he was phenomenal. And then you go to 2017, where Auburn pushed the envelope to possibly get into a national championship. They beat 2 number ones within a 2-week span, beating Georgia at home, beating Alabama at home. Now, would this have been accomplished if they had to play these two teams on the road? I don't know. But they played very well, and they held up the injuries up until that Alabama game where you have a situation where your starting running back gets hurt. And, you're still trying to figure things out. That kind of goes into your recruiting. I think there should have never been a situation where Auburn in 2017, you lose Kerryon Johnson, basically with a shoulder injury. There has to be a different kind of game plan to supplement that, not to continue to run the guy when he just can't do it. And I think Kerryon Johnson maxed his potential out, especially in that year 2017, where Auburn had an opportunity to not only win the SEC championship, and they were, now to be honest with you, early in that game, the 2017 SEC championship, it looked like Auburn was actually headed towards, another possible win over Georgia. But that turnover, early in the game with Jarrett Stidham, I think he fumbled the football, that kind of ignited Georgia and started to get that revenge blood going, and Georgia didn't turn back. Auburn had some opportunities, but after probably midway through the third quarter, you started to see Georgia impose their will against Auburn in that SEC championship game in 2017. Now, fast forward, Gus Malzahn, in my opinion, I thought was a very passionate coach for Auburn. I thought he loved Auburn. I thought he genuinely wanted to be there. I think he may have learned some lessons recruiting-wise, though, from his tenure at Auburn that may help him at UCF. Number one, you got to recruit offensive linemen. I mean, Gus Malzahn, in my opinion, really skilled players, he was pretty halfway decent at that. Now, I don't think he did a good job of recruiting running backs because, number one, I like Boobie Whitlow. And I hope wherever he is right now, he's enjoying all the success possible. But I just don't think, a dual threat quarterback at a 2A school in Alabama typically doesn't translate over to the type of running back that you need at a Power 5 football. Now, don't get me wrong. I thought he did phenomenal. given the tools that, given all that was the hand that was given to him. I thought he did great. But I thought the recruiting at running back really hurt Gus Malzahn down this stretch. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. I think, you got to do a better job at the running back position and the offensive line position. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe. Go ahead, and if you object to anything that I'm saying, please let me know, because I want to see let's get the comment section flooded, because we're talking about Auburn football tonight, day 2 of fall camp. Very impressed with what I saw with the wide receivers and their tunnel, their drills, and being able to catch the football. I thought there was a nice little separation play with Keandre Lambert-Smith earlier today when I saw that. And I think Auburn has some potential energy to do some good things this year. Now, as we kind of rewind this video, we kind of reverse things and, bring things into perspective with Hugh Freeze as Auburn head coach. Hugh Freeze, you're looking at 3 10-win seasons, one at each stop that he had. Arkansas State, Liberty, and Ole Miss. Had a, kind of had a knack for the development of quarterbacks. I think Chad Kelly was his guy, obviously, at Ole Miss, Applin at Arkansas State. And one of his best stories, when we look at what, happened at Auburn, with Malik Willis and Hugh Freeze's ability to transform Malik Willis from a quarterback that lost his job to a true freshman in Bo Nix to being very successful at Liberty and now quarterback in the NFL. I think that's a true testament to Hugh Freeze's ability to develop quarterbacks. Now, my question is, can he do it for the current Auburn quarterback, in Peyton Thorne? Can he do it? I think Peyton Thorne has the ability to do it. Now, Peyton Thorne, when he had the tools in place at Michigan State, did pretty good. 3,000 plus yards. Led Michigan State to a nice bowl game. I think they might have won it. And you saw flashes of this last year with Auburn. But what we want to know is, one, does he have just as many weapons at Auburn as he did at Michigan State? I may bite my tongue on this, and I may go back on it, but I have to agree. I think he has some weapons at Auburn this year. I think the wide receiver core at Auburn will be, I'd say, the best they've ever had, talent-wise, as a group. And if they can piece this thing together, and you also have to factor in Rivaldo Fairweather at tight end, who's very capable, you could have some dangerous stuff going on at Auburn, especially if the offensive line can hold up. They can create some time for Peyton Thorne to throw the football. And I don't think Auburn's backfield at running back is a slouch either. You got some a pretty good stable of running backs back there that can really help supplement some of the pressure for Peyton Thorne. I mean, you got Jerquez Hunter, who's all SEC preseason. I'm a big fan of Damari Alston. I'm a huge fan of Jeremiah Cobb and also Sean Jackson. And with the asterisks, Brian Betty, sustained an injury, during the summer with the shooting that actually, took the life of his brother. He's actually still on the roster, according to AL.com, but of course, can't play, but he's mobile. He's moving around. He says, look, I'm going to make this thing happen. I'm going to succeed in life, and I'm going to get back. I'm going to get my life back. I really commend Brian Battie for his fight and for, a situation where it would have taken most people out. So big shout out to Brian Battie, definitely in our hearts and prayers, Auburn family-wise. So we got to look at the fact that, as we talk about, culture changes at Auburn. I was really impressed with the fact that Hugh Freeze said, our main thing this year is gratitude. And I think, some of the things that have happened during the offseason had to have catalyzed that for Hugh Freeze. Hey, I'm thankful to be here. I'm 54 years old. I'm past I've lived a third of my life. And I'm just thankful to be here. I'm thankful, even with the players got to be thankful for the NIL opportunities that weren't available years ago. Those are things you got to look at. Thankful to play on the Power 5 level. There's so many kids in high school. I'll even say myself, when I was playing football in high school, I played hard. I had aspirations and dreams to play college football anywhere. And I didn't. There's so many players that are good enough. Then you might have some players that are real cerebral with the game, may not have the athletic ability all the way per se, kind of like myself, that dream of playing college football. But these guys have that opportunity. And I think a level of graciousness and gratitude goes a long way. And with the NIL, I look at Jerquez Hunter. Apparently he's gracious for it. How many college football players do you know that have the ability in college? Now, most of these guys do this once they get to the NFL. But how many guys in college have the ability to donate $8,000 to their old high school? That is huge. And still have the humility to work hard and perform on a collegiate level. I think that says a lot about these kids. And when you get on these blogs and you see folks just dogging these kids out, because of a missed block or, you didn't have a good game. But what they're able to do on a day in, day out basis, especially with using the NIL money to put their old situation better, I think that's huge. This is my time here. My name is Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. Talking Auburn football, go ahead and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. Down in Deep South, college football is king, and on the plains of Auburn, the battle cry is war